And the winner and the MVP, the winner of the MVP is Jalen Adams, Bryce Cotton. From the Sydney Kings, Xavier Cooks.
Look out! Caught that in the drill there. Steps into the three. He's next level. And Adams with ball in hand. Here he is again, the MVP. Cotton stepping back. Ridiculous by Bryce Cotton. Doing Bryce Cotton things. Doing what Bryce does best.
Welcome to the Hungry Jacks round of the NBL, folks. We're out west with the Perth Wildcats facing off against their arch rivals, the Sydney Kings. They're the two highest scoring teams from round one, so strap yourselves in. It is MVP night here at RAC Arena. Lockie Reed in commentary alongside Damien Martin, Annalie Maley. Damo, welcome to you. It's a star-studded night tonight inside this arena.
I am so pumped for this matchup. A lot of people predicted pre-season this could be the grand final. We get a preview of what that potentially could look like. But you mentioned the stars. There's so many of them out on the floor tonight. 3 of the players have won the last 5 NBL MVPs. Bryce Cotton taking out 3 of those, and then obviously Jalen Adams and Xavier Cooks, 1 apiece. And we haven't even mentioned some of the other talent in Space Cam, in Keanu Pinder. But those 3 players, they're going to be right up there at the back end of the regular season, trying to get another MVP next to their name.
Yeah, absolutely. Annalie, you must be excited as well to see these boys in action.
Yeah, it's going to be a really high-octane game. Like, the question is where the scoring is going to be coming from. There's only one basketball. And hey, maybe this is the first year we have co-MVPs.
Oh, yeah, I like your thinking. All right, let's talk about the reigning MVP, because last year he was a little sluggish to get underway, but round one this time round, he said, nah, bugger you, I'm going to have a crack, and he lit it up. 26 points last week, 8 3-pointers, Damo.
Yeah, he joked about it at the back end of last season, saying he didn't even recognise the number of 11 out there for the Wildcats for the first 7 rounds of the season. Turned the corner, goes on to win MVP, and has picked up from where he left off from. He was sensational last week, and as you mentioned, 8 3-pointers in the one game. Career best for him, and nicely matched up by what is usually referred to as Robin,
yeah,
and Keanu Pinder if Bryce is Batman.
Well, yeah, last week Keanu Pinder was Batman, Annalie, and Bryce just had to play the little Robin role, and I think he was pretty happy with that.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't know that Keanu Pinder had all of these things in his bag. It seems in the off-season he's added so much, and if you can win the most improved player multiple times, he's really putting himself in MVP form, and he really opens up the key for penetration from other players when he's shooting the ball like that. It really opens up so much space for everyone else to do what they're good at. So looking forward to see what he does tonight.
So they're 2 exciting players for the Perth Wildcats, but Sydney, they just decided we'll get Jalen Adams back and we'll have Xavier Cooks. Tell me more about Jalen Adams. We didn't see the best of him last year, but 2022, my goodness me, he was the best player in the competition.
Yeah, an absolute nightmare to guard because he can score from anywhere on the floor, but he also brings out the best in his teammates. And I think the Sydney Kings have really loaded up with bringing in the right personnel around him. So Jalen can play to his strengths, but then also make those around him even better. And the skills he's got around him with players like Xavier Cooks means this Sydney Kings roster is not only deep, but one of the most talented I've seen for a long, long time.
It's a pretty damn good stat line there, Annalie, but Xavier Cooks, he is the leader, and he's the leader they were missing last year when they just couldn't make the important stage of the season.
Yeah, look, I think that he does so many things by example, like his hustle plays, his defense. He actually gives up shots to get other people open, and he's one of the players that don't need offensive run for him to impact the game. So I definitely think that they were missing a player like that, but yeah, I don't know, that they've got so many players. It's going to be a bit of a balancing act to manage egos, and there's only one basketball, so who's going to be doing all the shooting? Who knows? But yeah, it'll be a good matchup for them tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Alex Tui is one player that I'm excited to see. We got a taste of him, but now it's time. He's going to be a starting player for Sydney. He's going to play an important role.
Yeah, he was one of the real highlights during the pre-season. He's carried that form over through round one with the 15 points last week against the 36ers in only 26 minutes. So I remember watching him at the Centre of Excellence in Canberra. He's just so particular about his work ethic. He's one of the hardest workers I've seen, but he wants to go into fine detail with things like footwork, with positions on the court, with angles. He's only going to continue to get bigger and better, and I dare say this will be the only season we get to see him until he's in the NBA, where I think he belongs.
Here's the starting five, Annalie, for the Perth Wildcats. No Dylan Winder as just yet, Windler, and of course Benny Henschel is a laid out. He's been battling the flu all week. Do you like this five?
I do. I definitely like Doolittle in that kind of 3-4 spot. His ability to bring the ball up the floor when he gets it as well. He's a mismatch for anyone trying to defend him. So I do like this lineup for sure.
What about Sydney, Damo? They're actually going with a couple of youngsters, and they've still got a fair bit of talent coming off the bench as well.
Well, the Perth Wildcats have gone with what they know. That's the same starting five from last season. The Sydney Kings, on the flip side, well, with the exception of Alex Tui, you've got a whole bunch of players who they're bringing together now. Whether they previously played for the Sydney Kings or not, now they're putting them together in that starting lineup. And Kelly LePepe, look at the biceps on the big fella. He's one of the strongest players, if not the strongest player in the league. And to start as a rookie on this roster speaks volumes to what the Sydney Kings organisation thinks of him.
It's like looking in the mirror, Damo, as we have the tip-off, and the Wildcats with first possession. Coram Harris, such a key player for this team in red. Here's Pinder coming off the big game, and the matchup against LePepe will be a beauty. Little turnover there, so good start from Sydney. Pressure was good. Wall on the break, and no foul in there, so still be a Sydney ball, but good attack to the rim from Bull Quall.
Might have been a bit unlucky there. I thought he might have got hacked on the way up, could go to the free throw line. But the Sydney Kings, when they apply pressure, they could cause some damage and to create some headaches for the Perth Wildcats. So let's see how they handle at one end as we see them run out of bounds play.
Hands in there from Pinder as well.
I wonder if we're going to see that full court press from Sydney today. They're pretty up and in early. I mean, when you have a player like Bull Quall, I guess, why wouldn't you?
Well, it was a great start last week, wasn't it, against Adelaide? Look, they were 19-3 to start the game. You thought, wow, this team's going to be unbeatable. There's LePepe falling away. Lots of hands in there at the moment, but the Cats lucky to get away with no fouls, and it'll be a Wildcats ball, no score.
I like the physicality they're letting go at the moment. Let's keep that consistent for the whole game, eh?
You just like physicality. I've seen you play. The more physical, the better for Annalie Maley. We have it in the front court here for the Perth Wildcats. And a minute gone in this first term.
We see Bull Quall early. He's flat out denying Bryce Cotton. It's essentially 4-on-4, and then their own individual game one-on-one with Bull Quall and Bryce Cotton. He's not playing any help defense whatsoever. Early sign if this is a game plan, if they do it for the whole 40, or just to try and not let Bryce get into the game early.
So how do they get Bryce free? Can you do anything about that?
Yeah, knowing that Bull isn't going to help off him, he can become a screener, become a decoy, little things to try and open up a bit of space for his teammates, or you make it a 4-on-4 game in the half court. And like we saw Bryce do there, just stretched his defender all the way to the half court line.
Here's Cole again. His pass no good. A little red at best. Now Bryce will get a possession. Trying to look for a little bit of confidence with some early points. That time it came out of his hands. Foul on Adams. Still no score. We've gone more than a minute now in this game. We've got the Wildcats who, as I said at the start of the game, these two teams the highest scoring in round one, but you'd expect Sydney to be a little more defensive than that. The Cats will go on the attack. Defence, not really their strength, Damo. Wouldn't have thought.
It's probably option number 5 on the priority list.
Adams on the break, taking on Webster. Won't go though. He'll go to the line, so a little foul there for Ty Webster.
How do you feel about the matchup between LePepe and Keanu? Like, do you think that's a good matchup?
Yeah, as big as Kelly LePepe is, he can still slide his feet. So whilst Keanu shot the ball really well from behind the three-point line last week, we also saw him do something similar in the semi-finals last season against Tassie, and even though he shot really well in game 1, they still disrespected him in games 2 and 3 and still challenged him. So LePepe is probably going to play to his strengths and sag off just that little bit, but if Keanu gets going from behind the arc, watch out.
Two from two for Jalen Adams. The Wildcat fans still standing, waiting for their team to score. And Bukwal might be called for a foul here. Yes, will be.
That's one of those early calls that absolutely kills his ability later in the game. I'd say that was a pretty light call too. For some of the ones he has been given up early.
He's so long, isn't he?
Yeah.
When you see him up close, a lot taller than you would think, and the long arms. Such a good player and an exciting machine. Here is Webster, keen to take it inside and score the two. We're all tied up early, 2 minutes gone. There's Tui to Cooks, going to have him back in the competition. That came out of the hands of Hiram Harris, but Hiram's pretty keen for them to have a look at that, but John really ignores him. Pepe, and it's slapped away from him. Here's Adams shooting away, and that's one strength that he can bring to the game and really tear this competition apart. Big three for Jalen Adams. And Harris, another turnover for the Cats. Lepepe will charge his way with the left hand. Cooks over the top, he comes. The big X-Man nails it.
Incredible putback there off the back of some great defensive pressure. This full court D from the Sydney Kings is disrupting rhythm and timing from the Wildcats. As you see Bryce Cotton turn one over, I think he was expecting a foul call.
7 plays 2. We'll have a look at it again on the Amy replay. Using the left hand, and then Cooks just sliding through and finishing the play in style.
That's one way to do a putback, eh?
Yes. This is a good start from Sydney. Silencing the fans early, important inside RAC Arena. Little pass inside to Cooks. Now Munzer into the game early for the Perth Wildcats as well. Little's a little short. Here's Jalen Adams again, so it's not to shoot on that occasion. The hands from Munzer was good, then it came off the foot of the big man from the Wildcats. Still a Kings ball. A lot of chirping going on early. 7 plays 2, 5 points is the margin. Oliver will give Cooks a rest.
Such is the intensity of the defensive end that after 3.5 minutes, we're already seeing Cooks go to the bench with how hard he's playing.
And Pinderoff as well was an interesting move as well. So
Yeah.
changes are coming. Hands from Harris, good. Oliver in trouble. Harris gets it back now. Cotton, he'll deliver that one from the three-point line. Good rebound from Webster. Cotton again. That one off balance. Pepe takes the rebounds.
I was going to say, I don't know if it was a fatigue sub as much as it was, hey, let's get some more players on sub. Like, that's the type of rotation they're going to have if they're going to keep all their players happy.
Jalen Adams is up and about. He's absolutely pumped. Scores the 2. He'll go to the line for another one. He's looking dangerous as well. 7 points already to his name early in this game. We'll have a bit of a breather here for both teams. The tempo good, and the Kings even better. 9-2 is the score. And Annalie, you caught up with the main man from Sydney, Xavier Cooks.
Zave, how do you feel about playing here in front of the Red Army? This crowd gets a bit intense. What are the vibes for tonight?
Yeah, it's definitely intense here, but I love it here. The energy here is always great. Whether they love us or they hate us, it's always good to play in front of an energetic crowd.
There's been a lot of talk about like how stacked your team is and the managing of minutes and stuff. How do you feel you guys are all gelling together with the firepower that you do have?
Yeah, I mean, Gorge has got a tough job trying to get the minutes distributed evenly, but I think everyone knows how talented this team is and everyone's fighting for minutes and we all support each other, whether we're playing, whether we're not. That's a really big thing for our team. We have so much talent.
There he goes, Xavier Cooks on the Tangerine timeouts. And the Kings will be very happy with their start. Cooks has got 2 points. Adams has 7 to his name, and the Cats have only scored the 2, Damo, in the first 3 and a bit minutes.
Yeah, we saw Bryce get 2 looks there, but before that last possession down, he hadn't even had any space whatsoever to try and operate. So they've got to get themselves into an offensive set, move the ball, get it through multiple sets of hand, and then try and get an easy one. See the ball go through the hoop and finally set up for some defense to try and get some stops.
Did you see a reason for Pinder coming off early in that start, especially after he's come off a big game last week? Pinder's such a confidence man. You would have thought you'd just stick with him for a bit longer.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're trying to see more out of their next star. Like, he didn't get to play a whole lot in the last game, so maybe it's getting him going early. Try and match the depth of the Kings, play their game. Who knows?
So Adams continues to chalk up the points. Here's Windler on for his first run this evening. Up against Adams, he wants to take them all on. And then Doolittle was out of court, so many turnovers for Perth. They've been a little sloppy to start this game.
Yeah, I think we might be being a bit too nice. No star likes to be subbed out after only 3 minutes, so maybe there was something JR saw that he didn't like and just wanted to get a message to one of his stars of the game. I don't see Keanu Pinder sitting for too much longer.
No, I don't think I'd be happy if I was taken out of the game.
Here's Oliver putting it on the floor. Then runs into trouble. Some easy points maybe here for Bryce. Ball though! Comes from behind and swats it away. Wowee!
I tell you what, you don't get a safe layup and or shot with him in the league.
Well,
that was incredible.
That was amazing.
That was awesome.
Speechless.
You seen those memes of LeBron chasing down people? That was quite similar, actually.
Incredible. You'll see that on the highlights for sure. As Adams slips it out to Cole. Little jumper, just a bit firm. Well done by Doolittle to keep it to his team's advantage. Just look rattled at the moment, the Wildcats. Kings have really come to play. Almanza likes the hook shot. That one rolled around, so this will frustrate the locals. Adams is feeling confident. He's getting into some rhythm, and so too is Galloway. So Galloway didn't play many minutes last week, and he scored the 2, drawn the foul. Here is the block. Damo, you would have loved this.
Well, the funny thing is you see Bull's eyes early in it and he's timing where to go, what angle to try and contest his shot at. And most people would give up, to be honest. They think, OK, Bryce Cotton's ahead of me. They've got the kick ahead. He's going to get a layup. Instead, he was trying to time his run up so he could go and compete. Ends up swatting it away.
I would say that's actually a pretty good chase down, considering like you don't want Bryce to get comfortable seeing the ball go through the net.
Yeah.
So if you can contest it, like, I mean, that's the perfect opportunity to do so.
It was Damien Martinez, I must say. Usually, though, Damo, you would have fallen into the sideline and cracked your head open, but Bull stays on his feet, just a little more talented. Here's Oliver, round the back he goes. And Adams sends one from the three-point line, but the rebound from Windler has come with that reputation. I think we'll hear it about 100 times throughout the season, but he had 33 rebounds in one game. Bryce decides to go all himself, and he's drawn a foul. So that might be a couple for Bull Quoll, which will sit him down.
Yeah, that's 2. That's what I was talking about. It was like that first one was so unnecessary.
Yeah.
But it kind of seems like he didn't even know that he was making that contact. Like, that foul, that was good defense there, but there was contact, and that's a 50-50 call, right? You know, like, he puts himself in a situation where he has to sit down now.
So the Bryce stopper is sitting down, but Bryce is to the line. He scores the first.
But Lee Arthur coming in to do that job, it looks like, which isn't a bad trade-off, I'd say.
Bryce misses the second, though. So 13-13. Once again, Sydney off to a bright start. Like last week. Hoping they can hold on to the advantage. Tui against his fellow All-Star and did really well. Nice floater from Alex Tui.
Great defense played there, but the offense was simply too good. He was patient. Thought he could get on with the Euro step, didn't. Still wasn't rattled at all to finish the play.
So they're really forcing into the hands of Bryce now, trying to get their star player going. 15 threes, that score.
I like how aggressive he's being, like with the ball on the floor. He's forcing those fouls to be called. Like, there's contact there. Like, Sydney's just putting their hands in as he's stepping foot into the key.
So makes the first, Bryce Cotton. The 8 threes last week. Was the most ever by a Wildcat in a round 1 game.
Am I correct in saying Jermaine Beal had about 10?
He had,
later in the
was it
season.
10? Yeah, hit the 40 points, I think it was in 1 game.
standard day in the office for you, Damo. No?
Yeah.
That's
any assists from you, Damo?
10 across a week of training.
Here's Galloway keen to take on Doolittle. Doolittle's pressure was good. Cotton with the rebound. Landed a little awkwardly. He's okay. Wagstaff decides to set the screen for him. And Jesse then gets the ball, shoots away. Well done, Amanza. Forced the rebound to land in the hands of Doolittle. So they like that from the youngster. The Cats, John, really clapping away. The intensity's good.
He's probably done 5 things minimum already that are little, but they go a long way. He takes Adams away from shooting a shot by sprinting back in defensive transitions, contested 2 offensive rebounds that have led to them getting the ball, even if he doesn't get credit with the rebound. Great defensive possessions a couple of times, even though he got scored on. So all those little things add up. And you need players like that on your team.
Windler gets bumped as he passed. He should have thrown that one up.
Yeah.
Might have gone to the line for a
Definitely
couple of
a
shots.
shot. Definitely a shot.
It was on a pass, so it'll still be a Wildcats ball. So 8 points that margin. Wildcats just working their way back into this game. Looked very rattled early on. In fact, he is going to the line.
15,000
Hour in the bonus, yep. Blocks a couple.
Talk about the little things that Almanza does. Is look at the way he runs the floor every time. Like, he's streaming. He's the first one down the court every time, and he's usually contesting for the rebound.
Showing some confidence in him. No sign of Pinder. With 2 and a bit to go. Here's Cooks up against Doolittle. Tui now against Almanza. Good defense from the youngster. Bruce just had to throw it away, and there's a Windler rebound. He's got a couple now to his name.
So we might have got away with a few steps there.
Into the corner it goes. The big man shooting. Windler nearly hauled it in. Came from behind, couldn't trap it. Bryce decides just to reach in. He's been called for the foul on that occasion. So 15-9, Caddies now just trailed by the 6. As Jalen Adams has come back in, they've been missing him in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, the Wildcats have fouls to give there, so a smart one to try and stop him in the transition there by B.
Fans have been silent so far. Here's Adams to Oliver. At the top of the key, nails it and just has a bit of a look over at John Rulli. It says, I'm pretty good from out there. Show me some respect.
That's the Adams effect. He hits an early 3. You've got to contest it. You've got to be on a hard show. Just gives enough space for the kick back to Oliver and drops one.
Munzer again working inside against Tui. He loses the handle. The left hand just a little firm again as well. He's getting to his spot, just not dropping the hook shots. And Cooks will like this match up against Jesse Wagstaff off the glass. 2 points, far too easy. 20-9 the score now. Sydney on a bit of a roll.
Yeah, Xavier Cooks downhill in a 1-on-1. There's not many players that are going to be able to stay in front of that.
Inside again, Almanza. And Bryce drawing the foul but couldn't finish the play.
If they're top blocking and just denying Bryce, like that's going to be open all game. Like, unless they adjust on their split line, but it's hard to come out of the corner when you have a shooter in the corner like that. Like, where does the help come from?
And that's where you can use him playing weak side, play 1-4 set, everyone nice and high, and actually go away from Bryce, because whoever's guarding Bryce doesn't want to be sitting on the split line. Because if he's got an open look, they're the one that gets in trouble. So there's different ways to try and exploit it when someone's getting guarded so heavily.
Look at these 2 coaches sitting on. So you want to get out
No,
there?
that's all I got. That was
that's
it.
all you got. So Bryce is to the line. We'll trim that margin back to 9.
I'd hate to be defending Bryce because you try so hard to deny him and then he gets a backdoor cut and you're like, well, yeah, I did my best, you know?
He finds a way.
Here's Adams looking to feed it off to Cooks inside. Good match up there. And another 2 to Xavier Cooks. The little 1-2 combination of Cooks and Adams. Working a treat right now inside RAC Arena. Here's Michael Harris. The feed off was okay. Windler couldn't finish the play. Oh, that is a beautiful pass. Jalen Adams, you are on fire, my friends. That was so good.
He's cooking. He's absolutely cooking.
You can just see he's full of confidence. And the Cats, through Windler, tried to go off the glass. It was a forced shot. This margin will look pretty handy for Sydney. Not only are they scoring, but they're defending really well.
Adams here is just able to dribble the ball comfortably with no pressure, and he's able to kind of look around and figure out what he wants to do and how he wants to score.
Here's Oliver again from a long way out. No Space Jam tonight because he's keen to go from long range. Sydney is on fire inside RAC Arena. They're leading it by 16 points, 27-11 is the score. Welcome back to Perth, and fair to say, Xavier and his Kings were cooking in that first quarter. This was a big dunk from the man that's back in the NBL. Great to see him back in the Kings outfit. Little slap of the backboard as well. And the Sydney Kings led it by 16 only after the first quarter. They were so impressive, weren't they?
Are you going to come in every quarter with a dad joke? Because that was pretty good. Xavier Cook's cooking.
That's all I've got.
Yeah.
I just keep bringing him out.
Yeah, look, they were pretty awesome. They were firing on all fronts. Honestly, the defense from Perth needs to take a step up. It just seemed like there was so many holes. Like that, that was great. So many hands everywhere.
Better defense there. Cooks was just a little more determined to grab hold of the ball.
They just needed a little bit more intensity and physicality. Like I was saying, like Adams was able to dribble the ball up the court without meeting any sort of pressure until he decided to make his move. But what you're doing then is you're allowing them to kind of like read the play, read the floor, get comfortable with the ball in their hands.
So Pepper's done well to get it into the front court, decides to go all the way, says, okay, give me a bit of space and I'll finish the play. There's a two.
Instant offense. Instant offense. We saw it last week, round one. He's right to the bench in the first 3.5 quarters. Gets in with about 4 or 5 to go. Xavier Cooks.
There is a foul in there. He's climbing his way once again to the rim. He'll draw the foul. So Cooks will go to the line. Doolittle with the foul. In fact, it was Keanu who was on the foul. It was Doolittle doing a lot of the chatting afterwards.
Yeah.
Disappointed with the call. Looks to make it a three-point play. They've got the answer straight away, the Kings.
I like what the ref said there. He said he's processing the play. I wish I could use that when coach asks me to do something. I didn't do it because I was processing the play, man. Give me a second.
I was a little slow to move my feet, sorry. I was processing what was going on. Here's Pepper running the points. As you said, Ben Henschel out crook, so he won't be playing. Rice will get another 2 to his name. And it'll be a Wildcats ball, so it's a rare one for the Cats.
Great energy by Elijah Pepper straight away. Subs in, gets himself a nice little floater, and then he picks up full court and forces a turnover.
And the Arthur now called for the foul as well, so they're keeping a nice close eye on the defenders of Bryce Cotton in this game. Qual already sitting down with a couple of fouls. The Arthur with one as well. Pinned up from outside. You saw those drop last week, not so this time around. As Liapa goes down to the other end. Pepe there, Windler to Pepper. Hands it off to Bryce. Hand in the face and called for the foul, Xavier Crooks. So you're right, Pepper is the man that sort of sparked this little fight back from the Wildcats. The margin's still 15, but you feel like they've got a lot more energy.
Yeah, definitely. But even that play there, that was all Pepper. Like, he pushed the ball, and as he cut towards the middle, he then turned his back and dished it off to Bryce. Like, he probably never had any intention of going all the way to the basket. He was just trying to draw enough attention to get Bryce open. And, like, that's a player you need on the court to create for other people like that.
So you're saying all Pepper, no salt?
All Pepper. All Pepper, no salt.
I wasn't sure when it was going to happen. I just knew at some stage. Lockie wouldn't be able to resist himself.
Got a book of those things,
Yeah. It's not a bestseller.
No, it's not. Some more points for Bryce Cotton. He's in the double figures now after a slow start.
But with not a lot of help from anyone else. There's not a lot of help going on.
Backdoor, Jalen Adams continues.
You'd be furious if you're Bryce in that possession. He actually picks up full court, or he does do a good job of denying Jalen Adams the ball, but then no one's there to help him on the backcourt. No one's playing split line, talking and saying, send him here, B, gives up an easy layup with the right intentions in mind.
Luke's got a couple of fouls, but it's not going to stop him from getting up and in. Here's Doolittle. That one was off. Windler jumping high, keeping it alive. Cotton slams it in. That's why they chase Dylan Windler. Worked hard on the boards as Adams responds down the other ends. Just doesn't drop hooks. Well played, Adams again. Feeling it. That one doesn't go. Up high, Galloway nearly did the alley-oop. Defence was okay to at least stop him from scoring. This game's just stepped up a notch here inside RSC Arena.
2 open looks there for Adams, and I just don't understand how he's getting so open. They need to fix that.
Strong boards from Windler and Cotton, the recipient of that one. And the first up miss for Galloway.
We're seeing a lot more of Galloway in this game than we saw last week, and it's been pretty positive. Like, he hasn't seen a lot of shots drop, but he's been really aggressive and getting some good looks, and I'd like to see him more in the rotation moving forward.
Well, he just played the 3 minutes for 3 points last week, which was a surprise. Here's round 1. George is just getting used to his roster. Here's Pepper outside. Not afraid to shoot, Elijah Pepper. A little firm, so Ty Webster comes back in. And Bryce is going to have a rest. 12 points to margin.
Well, it'll be interesting to see who steps up for the Wildcats at the offensive end, because Webster subs in, but Cotton goes to the bench with 13 points. No other scorer for the Wildcats above 2.
Reaching around was Cam Oliver. He's not happy with that foul called on him.
sometimes there's ones that just look like a foul. He might have got all ball there. I'd love to see a replay at some stage, but it just looks so obvious that not many people can make that type of play, so the ref thinks they can call an easy one. And then check it out.
Here's your Amy replay.
Maybe a bit of hand and arm.
Isn't the hands are part of the ball, though, no?
Pepper from long range.
Right? I didn't just make that up. The hand is a part of the ball, right?
Yeah, Scotty Butler will be able to confirm.
So good response from the Cats. They still trail, though. Plenty of work to do. Back to 9 points. Adams does well. There's another one. How many now for Dylan Windler at the boards? Feels like he's at 4 or 5.
He's up to 7, Lockie,
okay,
already.
it's more than I thought. Webster keen to take it to the rack, and he does for another 2. Gorge wants a timeout. Cats are on a bit of a roll right now. Trim the margin back to 7. The fans trying to find some voice. And the Tangerine timeout will be an interesting one. We might sneak in and just have a listen to John, really. Always entertaining on the sidelines. Once we get the camera in there and the microphone, it'll be intriguing to see what he has to say, because he'd be happy with his troops, Damo, with this response in the last minute or so.
Remember, Oliver, we're veering and greening. Just contest and then keep fucking rebounding their ass up.
Yep, he might just pop out of that one. I said it was going to be intriguing.
He wants them to rebound, Lockie, is
Yes,
what I've
yeah,
picked up
that's what
there.
I heard. I heard that too.
Yeah, and go flat out,
Yeah.
he said. Go flat out.
Go as far as you can towards
So what's
the ball.
been the change? Annalie, what have you seen that's, forced this change? Still 7 points, still some work to do, but the Kings not as confident as they were in that first quarter.
There just seems to be a bit more sense of urgency coming from the Wildcats. So whether that was Pepper or Windler, like there's all of them are crashing the boards. Like there's tips on things. I still want to see them like pressure a little bit more on the ball handlers, but I understand like the quickness of some of those players makes that difficult. But yeah, it's definitely the sense of urgency.
So Kings ball. Bruce, the veteran, ever reliable. Just keen to get it to Wildcats. Good feed, but good hands. Pepper providing the energy. And the ball handling as well. So, a right spark as a recruit. And off to Webster. Oh dear, that's a long way out. Very adventurous. Well done by Webster today to keep it in play. Now Pinder in the corner. That one a little short.
I don't hate that shot from him though, like off an offensive rebound to shoot an open 3.
Such a beautiful style when he shoots. That one didn't drop for him though. Pepper was a little adventurous on that occasion. The defense tough on Cooks. No call. Bruce reaching in. Oh, Doolittle was keen to get it to Webster, but he was actually out of court when the pass was going his way. So a little frustrating turnover for the Perth Wildcats. More changes. Cotton's back in.
Too much sauce on that pass there. But, hey, down the other end, you saw the contest from Webster at the basket on Cooks. Like, that's hard to jump up and down in your cylinder, contesting a person that can jump as high as Zave can. That was great defense. Like, look at him convert, but more of those plays, more some run-out offense. That's what they need to get going before the end of this half.
Order keen to back down on Cotton. Adams, been terrific. Lepepe underneath. Good block on the big man. And Doolittle working hard. He lost it. The reach in from Adams. Here's Lepepe. Hands it off. Adams under pressure. Draws the foul. Fans are going to go off their nut right now.
Oh, wow.
They were desperate for a foul. And it went the other way. Gorge is happy.
Kelly!
That's tough.
And Adams will go to the line.
That's tough.
Wonderful, wonderful.
So 10 points for Jalen Adams.
Say the strength in Doolittle to be able to rebound the ball and shrug off seemingly 5 players and continue to go.
Here's Lefebvre. Underneath, good footwork from Jalen Adams. He goes to the line. It sparked up the fans. That one's short, so they're feeling a little hungry.
They needed something to get excited about. You just never know where the energy's going to come from, and maybe off the back of what they believed was a bad call, it might actually get them involved for the remainder of the game.
I have a theory that they actually let out a smell of burgers when that happens to rile up the crowd.
That's right.
There's definitely something.
Pepper in the corner. It's good play from Ty Webster. They need to do that more often. Charge down the court. They won't be able to keep up with him, and they can't keep up with Adams as well. Here's Cotton with the steal and a reach in from Tui. We're back to 5 points. And Brian Gorgon asks, should we challenge?
You got him on the arm. Good call by the ref there.
Little to Pepper. Decides to shoot again. Oh, gets that one stuck.
Oh, it rolled off! James, it rolled off! I've already blown it. Oh my God, no you didn't!
Oh, here we come. Little early warning.
I understand. I got you.
Stay under control,
Did
please.
you hear what he said to me, though?
No, I didn't. I'm looking at your behaviour.
Oh, my God.
Behaviour warning, Perth coach.
So there we go. John Riley. And the stare as well.
Very passionate guy. That's what they say about him.
Probably the first time I've ever seen that, where you think it's going to get wedged in the corner and actually does roll off.
Actually rolled off.
And surely the ref thinks in that situation, oh, I know he's got a point,
Yep.
but they continue on.
Pepe, strong, working underneath the hoop. A little bit of bodying out by Doolittle. Fair, says the ref. Now it's Cotton, one-on-one with Tui. Little crossover, slides his way through. Out it goes, Doolittle from the top of the key. Brings the game alive.
That's what we like to see. Look at how much attention Bryce attracts as he sets foot into the key. Everyone turns their head. It's now just on the other players to relocate to get into his vision, because he's a great passer. It's just trying to get into his line of vision.
Tangerine timeouts. Here is the move from Bryce. Just drew about 4 players, and Doolittle at the top of the key. Nailed it.
So there's Tui. The Pepe leans in for half a second. Adam steps in. Oliver part of it. Bull even takes a hedge towards us at some stage throughout that one possession while B had the ball. 5 players got involved from the opposition.
Doolittle is the one Perth will need to continue his improvement. Last year, rock solid. Didn't make many mistakes, but never really starred. They need him to step up to that next level if they're to win the championship.
He's Mr. Consistent. You know, I don't see any reason why he can't average a double-double, whether that's 12 and 10 at the lower end when it comes to the scoring, but I do see him needing to be a double-digit scorer night in, night out, because then they have potential for someone like a Pepper to get going, a Harris, a Benny Henschel, whoever it might be, but you're backing in Keanu and Bryce to be your prolific scorers, but is it going to be a Windler or one of those other names I mentioned before to step up?
And the 4-man is the most important player in the team, because if you look at all the championship teams over the last couple of years, the 4-man is the key.
Well, Bryce Cotton might disagree. He's got his 13 points have been pretty important to them.
But still, in the Bryce Cotton days when they won the championship, you had a guy called Nick Kay, you had a guy called Matthew Knight. Important players, likewise with Sydney. Xavier Cooks dominating the competition. That 4th spot is a key to winning the title.
Yeah, I just think they're really great complementary players to allow your guards and then your big 5-man to get going. Like, your 4-man needs to be a person that can succeed without the ball and create without the ball and doesn't need offenses to be run for them to be effective. And I think, again, you see that at Sydney, and you do see that at Perth as well.
Oliver losing possession. Keeping it alive, though, was Cooks. 12 in the corner. That one doesn't go. You get another crack at it and go straight away shooting. And that one's a little short, so it's just dried up for Sydney right now. The defence a lot better from Perth.
Yeah, the 2-point margins off the back of the energy that Pepper brought to the game, and now the other Wildcats have picked up their own efforts, and now they're starting to get the ball out of the backcourt quicker. They're starting to get a bit of movement. They're passing it. Just all those little things, but I believe it came from that energy spark off the bench.
Down to 5 on the shot clock. That one doesn't go. Adams was keen for the outlet pass, but Cole couldn't get it to him quick enough. Tui to Adams. The hands nearly good from Cotton. And Oliver just left all alone. Opens up Bull Quoll in the corner. Bang, down she goes.
He wasn't going to miss 3 in a row. That was never going to happen. I think they got lucky with him missing 2 in a row.
Webster keen to get it into the front court as quick as possible. Then go himself. That's a nice little 2 under the rack.
Sydney weren't ready. None of their players were back playing any sort of defense.
He almost has to do that all the time, Ty, because no defender can really keep up with him once he gets a full head of steam.
No, and he's a big guard. He's strong too.
Sydney got the response. They had it out by 16 early in the first quarter. Oh, that's a nice fade away.
And he lets us know about it.
He certainly does. He's had a good start to his game. He's coming off the bench at the moment, working into it with 10 points. Cam Oliver. Here's Windler shooting away. Oliver down the other end takes the boards.
Oliver hasn't missed yet. 100% from the field. 4 from 4 from the field, and then 2 from 2 behind the arc.
Not a bad 6-man, eh? As Adams continues to score the 2. Not a bad point guard as well. It's back out to 7 points. Good response from Sydney. Another break in play. Tangerine timeout coming your way. 39-34 is the score here inside RAC Arena. And Damo, the numbers looking pretty good on Sydney's side of the fence. We've got Oliver and 10 points. Adams is leading the way on 13. Good spread of scorers, and Xavier Cook's also in 9 points. So all the big stars have come to play for Sydney.
Yeah, you got 2 great teams. So while Sydney let the Wildcats get back into the game, cutting it to a 2-point margin, all of a sudden they get it back to into the hands of their studs. So Bull Quoll hits an open 3, but then Jalen Adams gets involved in a pick and roll with Cam Oliver, which the Wildcats haven't been able to slow down or have an answer for so far. And now the margin's back to 7 with 1:40 to go in the half.
What about Sydney? This roster is deep, isn't it? Like, you know, you've got Cam Oliver coming off the bench. He's had 10 points. He's going to get his minutes, isn't he? But, you know, he's going to take on this 6-man role for the time being. I'm sure he's probably, when he gets a little fitter and back into game shape, then he's going to come back and start.
Yeah, you don't lose much when you go to the bench in any of those positions. And throughout the course of the season, whether it's foul trouble, injury or illness, I don't think it's going to be a cause for concern for Brian Goorjian if all of a sudden he has to bring someone else into the rotation. Doesn't matter who you start, it's who they finish, and they've got 40 minutes to find out who they want to have out there on the floor when the game's on the line.
Closing in on halftime here at RAC Arena. Here's Wendell in the corner. They're the shots he needs to hit, and he does. Came here as a scorer and rebounder. And some early points for him. Closing it on halftime. Oliver again. That one doesn't go. It's out to Doolittle's advantage, and it's out of court. Still a kid's ball.
I don't know if switching that on ball is a life you want to live if you're the Perth Wildcats. Elijah Pepper, don't get me wrong, he is strong, but I'm backing Cam Oliver in the post 9 times out of 10.
And Cam Oliver's going to have to go off. He's got bleeding on the bicep. How can you see some bleed on those big biceps? It'd have to be a fair bit of bleed to actually notice it. He's a big man. He's going to get it strapped up under nearly a minute to go in this final term, and Cooks continues just to be rock solid and deliver the points when needed. 6 points to margin. Little handoff to Cotton. Double team now in the corner. That pass, a tricky one. Pepper, long way out. Doesn't go. Oh, look at Windler. Dishes it back to Cotton. And Cotton will miss as well. There's going to be a little push underneath. It'll go against Pepe, I think.
So those extra efforts from Windler. doing a great job on the boards, keeping the Wildcats involved each and every possession.
How many rebounds now for Dylan Windler?
Up to 8, but I think they might have shortcut one.
So they're probably hoping that he's going to score more, but if he's delivering nearly 10
He's
rebounds
kicking the ball out to give an open three to Bryce. They're pretty happy.
Miller misses that one.
One shot. Drive. Oh my God.
He gets the seconds. Galloway to come onto the court. Cooks will rest up before half-time. So as expected, it's a tight contest. Kings got off to a great start. Wildcats have worked themselves back in, but this man has delivered all night long, and that one is a Kings ball. Oliver and Wagstaff. Adams dishes inside. Oliver, strong, couldn't make the play. Tap out was good. Well done, Lee Arthur. He gets it back into his hands. There's good pressure underneath the hoop. Desperation plays at its best for Sydney, and Adams keen to take Cotton one-on-one. Steps back, fires away, doesn't go. Windler with the boards. They got 6 seconds, now 5. Oh, Bryce's move was fancy. Inside it goes, 2 points. Christian Doolittle. That was a big move from Bryce. And it's back to 3 points to margin. 43-40 the halftime score. We look forward to seeing that one.
He had no right finding space between those 2 plays and then creating for his teammate. I need to see a replay of that. That was simply incredible.
It certainly was. So a bright start for Sydney. They still lead the way. They've answered the call for the Wildcats. Here it is again. Bryce had 2 coming at him. Then round he went. Did you teach him that?
No, far from it. Far from it. I mean, yeah. Thanks a lot, that's what we spent a bit of time.
I remember back in the day. 43-40, that's the score. It's the Kings leading the way inside RAC Arena. Welcome back. Just 3 points the margin here inside the jungle over in the west. The Sydney Kings started on fire, but the Wildcats have got themselves back in the game. Damien Martin, and we're set for a thrilling second half.
And it's not disappointed whatsoever. I thought Sydney Kings got off to a great start. They applied pressure defensively. That did rattle the Perth Wildcats, but at the end of the first 20 minutes, we see it only being a 3-point margin once the Wildcats were able to settle and make a run themselves.
Feels like just that field goal percentage changed a fair bit. Sydney started well, shooting the rock pretty well, but just faded in that second quarter.
Yeah, they were able to take the Wildcats out of the shots they wanted to take in the first 10 to 12 minutes, but the Wildcats went on the run off the back of energy created from some of their bench players, settled into the game, and now this next 20 minutes is something that I think everybody should be excited for.
Let's take a look at some Hungry Jacks highlights, and I'm going to start with my man, Jalen Adams. He has been smoking throughout this first half.
Well, we spoke earlier before the broadcast even started about Adams, about Oliver, about Pinder, about Cotton, about Cooks, all these big nine players, and they haven't disappointed. In particular, Adams, who has been the best player on the floor in this first half. He got himself involved early by hitting that three, and then he's brought his teammates along for the ride.
Yeah, he's got 13 points to his name and going at 44% from the field. He really is forcing himself inside the key and creating some havoc.
And that pick and roll that he's getting himself in with Oliver has also meant Oliver can play to his strengths. So credit Jalen Adams for bringing Cam Oliver into this ball game as well. Those two have been sensational for the Kings.
Now, every steak needs a bit of pepper, doesn't it? And Elijah Pepper was absolutely magnificent. He came on the court and he pretty much got Perth back into the game. He's got 8 points.
I'm going to have to limit you to how many pepper puns you make throughout the course of this broadcast, but you're spot on. He got brought in off the bench, created energy straight away with pushing the ball, playing with aggression, creating not only for himself, but making the extra pass, creating space for shooters. He's been a key part to the Wildcats getting back in this game and the intensity that lifted once he was out there.
Well, what about Elijah Pepper? His confidence is quite sky high for a kid that's come out of college and then now playing in the NBL. Do you like that?
Yeah, I absolutely love it. He went to college for 5 years as a prolific scorer over there. He was their go-to man on the court and didn't disappoint. And he's come out here and thought, why would I change my mindset? Yes, I've got to find a way to break into the rotation, but if given the opportunity, I'm going to make the most of it. And so far in back-to-back games, he's done just that.
We're serving up plenty of basketball over the weekend. We've got a double header tomorrow, Cairns and Adelaide. Certainly looking forward to seeing how Cairns and Adelaide can respond to round one.
Yeah, I was very impressed with Adelaide in that first round. They made some runs at different times. They showed in patches that they're as good as it gets, and Cairns Taipans are healthier and fresher faces this time.
And look at this matchup. I think that was the grand final series, so that should be a beauty as well. The Jack Jumpers up against Melbourne United.
Oh, look, there's so many good teams. There's no easy games. So when you look at the matchups, I've changed my mind about 4 times already who I think will take that one. I'll go with the home team.
And what about this second half? What are you expecting here from both Sydney and also the Perth Wildcats?
Well, I think both coaches will be in the locker room right now saying, okay, this is what worked and this also is what didn't work. There's been clear signs of both teams going on runs off the back of the pressure applied by the other teams. So I think the Wildcats will continue to apply some type of pressure full court, in particular trying to limit the impact Jalen Adams can have by not having the ball in hand. On the flip side, the Wildcats have got to continue to push, run the floor, but I expect Adams to continue to get involved in the pick and roll situation and punish the Wildcats if they switch.
Yeah, it's two arch rivals going at it here inside the RAC Arena. 3 points is Sydney's lead. Back with more in just a moment. the spin. He has put him on the rotisserie.
Entering his second season as a next star, Alex Tui showed us last year why he is one of Australia's top basketball prospects.
Great pass for Tui.
The 6'8" wing played in all 29 games for the Kings in NBL24 across multiple positions and guarding the league's best talent.
Alex Tui's going to have his hands full here. Did very well defensively.
He is a versatile, switchable defender who can knock it down from deep, but also has an incredible feel for the game. Tui has been on NBA radars since breaking out at the 2022 NBA Academy Games in Atlanta. Currently a projected second rounder, Tui is looking to elevate his draft stock under one of the league's greatest, Brian Goorjian. With a year of pro ball already under his belt, get set for year 2 with Alex Tui.
Absolutely, Alex Tui, almost a veteran of the Next Stars, isn't he? Having been around last season. He's such a talented player, and Pete Hawley's voice, very much like Dennis Cometti as well. Just sounds very similar, doesn't it?
Oh, some of Hawley's best work, and I don't say that lightly because I saw him at the clubs here in Perth. Oh, his best work. Hawes, no, but you're right. He said he's the veteran of the Next Star because he's a second-year player, but he also plays like a veteran. He plays well beyond his years. A very smart player, high IQ with plenty of skill to boot.
I forget how long he is, and like at his height and the way that he moves, like it's evident when he does like a step through or a Euro step, like his ability to really step around defenders and then finish outside of the cylinder.
Let's talk about these two guys because they've been terrific. Adam's more dynamic than Bryce, to be fair, in the first half. You'd say he's had a better game so far.
Yeah, well, the space that Adams is getting is creating himself, so you've got to give him full credit there, and he's bringing his teammates in particular with those handful of assists that he's got. A lot of those are going to Oliver in that pick and roll situation or flattening the defense and then kicking it out for those threes. Bryce, on the other hand, it seems like the whole Kings defense collapses when he gets the ball, so slightly different defensive mindset from both teams. We see Pinder commit his 4th turnover in the game in limited minutes.
Here's Lepepe outside to Adams. From 3 once again, so he's got the handles, he can take it inside, and if he can hit those threes, becomes the most dangerous weapon in the competition.
Pepe is giving absolutely no space, like really crowding his dribble and not letting him have any time to think about what he wants to do next.
Yeah, Pinder only played for 7 minutes in that first half after dominating round 1, and a little step back over the three-point line from Christian Doolittle. Lands. No score yet for Keanu Pinder as Tui works himself under the hoop for another 2. That's probably Pinder's challenge, isn't it, this season, is to be a little more consistent. He's scored the 29 last week. Everyone's talking about him. You've got to repeat the dose the following week.
Yeah, and he can score in a number of ways. So if the three-point ball isn't dropping, how else can be involved and help his teammates at the offensive end? Now, I have nothing to base this off other than the fact that he's played limited minutes, which I was not expecting to see. But Benny Henschel has been ruled out with illness. I wonder if a little bit of that might be going around, because this is not what I was expecting from Keanu Pinder off the back of 29 points.
I will say he hasn't seen a lot of the ball, to be fair. Like he's had 2 good looks at the 3 that have kind of just rolled out. But he hasn't had a lot of open looks. The Kings have done a really good job at taking away the things he's been great at and living and dying by making him make threes.
Heads to the line, gets his first score of the game. Miss of the second. Lepepe takes the rebound. The backdoor cut good from Kukwal. 2 in the corner. Can't make it go. There's lots of pushing and shoving. So Pinder with the foul on that occasion. And the change. Cooks will rest up again. Similar to the first quarter. Cooks went off early. Cam Oliver into the game. Good replacement.
He's been unreal in the first half.
Adams against Hiram Harris. Little feed out is good. That one didn't go on that occasion from Cam Oliver. And Cotton keen to get the ball moving. Here's Webster to Doolittle. Look for the handoff. Decides to go himself. He likes that matchup against Adams. Basket doesn't go. A good strong rebound from Alex Tui. Wrestling going on. Lepepe and Harris. Now Lepepe will get it on the post and will back himself in. Two big boys going at it. Lepepe's hook shot didn't go. Star of LMU, which is a college that Damien Martin might have gone to.
Yeah, Loyola Marymount University, part of the West Coast Conference over there in America.
Yep.
Based out of Los Angeles. Oh no, I see you bringing out a piece of paper. Already got
very good stats, very rock solid. As Bullquall out in the corner, doesn't make it go. There's the big man, takes the rebound. Will he get it back? No, Adams out to Oliver, living on the three-point line. That one doesn't go. So Lepepe averaged 10 points, 5 rebounds, and 1 assist.
Solid, very solid.
Damien Martin.
Oh no.
Yeah. I thought you were a legend of LMU, to be honest, but you served up 5-3-5, a 3-3-3, a 5-3-3. What's that sort of stuff? That's my sort of game.
Consistent, mate. That's what that is.
Hey?
Consistent across my three.
Lucky numbers, maybe?
Telling you, Lepepe, he'll be on the Hall of Fame board before you.
So that's where you dig into the graves before, and you just say, no, what can I do to embarrass?
5-3-5.
You know what? If someone had asked me, hand on heart, what'd you average in college? I'd be like, oh, 11, 12.
Did I miss a season?
No, it was just the 3. I was injured.
And that was the unstatable stuff, mate.
Yeah,
Give yourself something.
you know what's even worse? I want to say that's probably the exact same numbers I average in NBL. So let's not bring those numbers up either.
Oh, there's Jalen Adams. He's killing it right now. Great basket. And just so I might remind you, Matt Knight sent in a text saying I had 14-7. 14-7 from Big Matty Knight. Fair player at the Perth Wildcats. The Kings continue to roll here. 6 points to margin. Doolittle tempted to shoot. Decides to take it inside. Came off the hands and then goes back well. Well done. Oh, good attack on the ball from Webster. Lepepe's knocked him to the ground.
I wonder how much of that is just him being bigger than
just
other
a big
people.
boy, yeah.
Like, do you really penalise people for being bigger?
Victim of his own strengths there.
Let's watch the replay.
I'm not sure he was called for the foul, though.
No, he was.
He was called for the foul?
Yeah. I mean, maybe it was the impeding space. But, you know, if it was anyone else that gave a slight bump like that, I don't think they'd move very much.
What you missed at the end of the Amy replays, he just picked up Webster with one hand there as well.
One hand, it was just his pinky finger, actually.
That's right.
Or he thought about it, used his mind power.
Webster very aggressive, and the points will count. So he takes it back at Adams. And he'll go to the line from the foul line.
Ty Webster has 8 points now, so he's kind of picking up some of the scoring slack of the other players.
As much as we can, the downhill one, it's the same thing.
Real arm wrestle at the moment between these two teams.
I couldn't have been further off in my predictions insofar as the scoreline. I thought we were going to play this game potentially with both teams getting into triple figures, and instead the defensive intensity that the Sydney Kings started with, now the Wildcats are trying to be able to match that.
And that was always the criticism, wasn't it? Especially last year, the defence from the Cats not so good. We know that the Kings are always up for the challenge. So too Xavier Cooks, another little left-hander, slides in off the glass. Here's Doolittle. Pass to Webster. That was good defence from Tui and Bruce, and that pass was a real wild one. So well done. They double teamed. They did that nicely.
I'd like to see Pepper come back in to change the flow of the game right now for the Wildcats. Or maybe a little bit of Windler as well. They really finished off that half with the intensity. And, oh my God, it's
Mailey.
Should I be a head coach? That's
really
crazy.
Jump over next to John Riley. Bullquall fires away, a little short. Harris in there, couldn't take it. Cotton. Got two coming at him. Decides to go to Almanza to Doolittle. Dangerous pass. Oliver was in the lane, did really well.
The cross-court passes, they're a little bit dangerous. They've had a few of those in this third term.
A bit of holding of the singlet and the arm in there as well. Have a look at this. So, Annalie Maley, if we just rewind the tape.
Look at
10
this.
seconds, says
Crazy.
Pepper and Windler in, please. John Riley says, no props. I'll make that change.
He heard me.
Yep.
He absolutely heard me.
You have the power in Perth. Sitting next to the Prince of Perth, and you now have the power. Here's Oliver. Not shy at all. And when you can shoot like that, no doubt.
I think he came pretty close to kissing JR just then on the way past. Really let us know about it.
So this margin stretched out by 9. Really good response out of the main break from Sydney. And there's another turnover. The passing terrible. Galloway says thank you. One-handed, into the hoop it goes. And it's a dangerous margin now. Down to 11 points. That's a good little patch of play from the Kings.
We're going to listen in on Brian Gordon for the Tangerine timeout, and then I'll give you my thoughts on that last play that was executed beautifully by the Sydney Kings.
All right, so just in a moment, we'll head in. Gorge has masterminded a really good turnaround in this.
It's the defense and it's the
second
rebounding. You get the rebound, we can push the ball. Xavier behind the ball in handoff. When it comes back, put it in his hand. All right, you understand? You got the split game action here.
Let's go a reverse short. Because they'll overhelp you on you, the roll. I'll open up the roll for you. Punch on his motherfucking head. I'm a decoy. The roll's going to be open. The roll's going to overplay for me, and your dunk's going to be open. Dunk that motherfucker and yell.
There we go. Xavier Cook's having his word inside that timeout. Nice to have Gorge back in the competition, isn't it? There's just something about him strolling up and down the sidelines. Plus, he could coach.
Yeah, he's got an aura about him. He's one of those coaches I wish I had the privilege of playing for, but I got to spend about 30 minutes with him, chatting with him earlier in the week, and I was just captivated. Everything I threw his way, he answered, and he answered in a way that I wish I'd recorded so I could replay it time and time again. Just a legend of the game and continuing to give back and continuing to help any team he does coach. But I was going to go talk about it before as we see the Wildcats. They would have drawn up a plan out of the timeout. Let's see if they can execute. Instead, it looks like they're going to cause. They're very fortunate there not to have another turnover forced. But the Sydney Kings, during that substitution where we're laughing about Windler and Pepper checking back in, they've called a play where it's a ball reversal into Izzy Leafa, setting a screen for Cam Oliver to pick and get an open three. And those little things, the communication, the basketball IQ, I believe Sean Bruce probably called it, it just gets everyone involved with the touching of the ball, your role within that offense, and then when your big guy knocks it down, you get energy from it. And Galloway in particular, all of a sudden he's diving into the passing lanes and breakaway dunks.
I'm interested to see what the players coming out of here for Sydney, they were talking about using Xavier as a decoy to then get Oliver in the dunker spot, and I think the words were something about dunk it on their heads and yell.
There's Crooks to the upper. Now it goes into the post. Oliver with the fadeaway. It's a rebound though by Doolittle.
The timing wasn't quite there. Xavier Cooks was spot on. They weren't going to help off him, but that would have been a lob pass he was throwing, but Oliver was a little bit too close to the ring at that stage, and Windler in front of him.
So Windler gets fouled on the three-point line. Wagstaff keen to get amongst the action as well. Now Munzer will have a rest. 58-47, that's the score. To 7 in this third term. We've travelled 6 minutes. So like the first quarter, the Kings have control of the game. Once again, Pinder sits. That's all three. That'll give him some confidence. He's up to 9 points to a Windler and 9 rebounds. from 3. Little firm.
Too much time in the weight room.
Yeah.
Or a gust of wind, whatever you want to call it.
And he was cross-court as well. He stepped back.
Touch it, but his foot is in the front court, so he has gone to the back court.
Okay.
Yes, so it's cross court.
So there's the explanation.
He was in the front court, then stepped back.
So we'll have a look here.
Yes.
Did he step back?
Oh, he did. He did indeed.
Good eyes.
Great call.
Yeah.
I wasn't even looking at his feet, and that is why I am not a referee. Too distracted.
The Amy replay shows it all. Don't you worry about that.
Michael Aylen, spot on there.
Yeah.
Hundreds of games to his name. Plenty of Referee of the Year awards. Looks like a Garden gnome, but knows what he's doing with the whistle. Oh, that's hard.
Oh, that's real hard.
Michael knows I love him.
Well, you wouldn't have said that during the game. Here's Pepper. Up against 2. Wagstaff. The soft hands were too soft. The response here, they're keen to get it into the hands of Oliver. He's the hot man at the moment. Lee Arthur. Now Galloway wanted to feed it off. Now he does to Bruce. Ball movement good from Sydney. Lee Arthur from long range and slides away. The passing was spot on though.
This is a massive 3 minutes. If I'm the Sydney Kings, I'm trying to get this to a double-digit lead. Instead, they commit a foul on a 3-point shot. And I was about to say, if I'm the Wildcats, I'm trying to get this back to 2 or 4 heading into the 4th quarter.
He gets called that a lot, doesn't he, Bryce? Goes to the line. How do you defend that, Damo?
Well, he stops and pops so quickly. Not many players that we watch here on the Amy replay. It's not like he's jumping forward. He used to get criticised with jumping too far forward. That is his usual shot. But you're trying to contest it. You're trying to do the right thing because he is such a good 3-point shooter. But because he's able to stop so quickly and go into his technique, usually the defender's on the back foot, forces them to jump forward. And sometimes, well, more often than not, when we see with Bryce Cotton, they do take away his landing space, and that is a foul.
Yeah, it is. You definitely have to protect the player in that situation. It is hard to guard. But I guess that is why he is one of the best.
They're doing it from the foul line at the moment, the Wildcats, just trimming the margin gradually.
I'd say we haven't seen a lot of looks for Bryce in this 3rd quarter, actually. Like, that would have been one of his tough finish there.
That's tough from Xavier Cooks. And the foul on Jesse Wagstaff as well. Cooks will go to the line.
Cooks going downhill is damn near impossible to guard. He's so explosive. And you're backpedaling too, trying to change direction with his change of direction as he's coming at you, like, so explosive.
A little short, but he gets it back again. Oh, it nearly finishes the play. With the one hand, the athleticism of Xavier Cooks is a highlight. Here's Jalen Adams. It was a little firm. Windler couldn't hold on to that one. Galloway gets himself to the rack for another 2.
I say Galloway's been really solid in this game. Very consistent. Been a nice bright spot for the Kings.
Wagstaff in the corner. Little short. Comes off the foot of. That'll be a hard one to judge. It's going to be called a jump ball. That was hard to judge. We might see it on the Amy replay.
I thought it came off the Kings.
A couple of changes. Cooks will sit down. 10 points to margin. Kings have continued to march on. Here's the Amy replay as the shot goes up. Good change here is the alley-oop, and there he goes. Little bit of Space Cam action early in the season, and have a look at him jumping up and down. We love to see it. Cam Oliver says, "Please, sir, I want more." 64-52 is the score. The Tangerine timeouts. And Cam Oliver is putting on a show. He's got himself up to 15 points. Jalen Adams on 19. The King Stars have come to play.
Check out this attempted putback dunk. Oh, that was close.
What it could have been. If you could have gotten the zoom in on his face there too.
And Space Cam, he makes it look so easy, doesn't he?
He really does.
Sensational. He's hitting the threes and he's slam dunking. It's been a highlight so far of this evening's game.
Yeah, like I was saying before the game, having a 5-man that can hit threes opens up the keyway for everybody else. And to have Oliver shooting the ball the way he is, with the swag he has at the moment, like he's hitting some step backs, he's hitting some fadeaways. It really opens up the key for, you know, your Galloways to get downhill, and Adams as well, and even opening up some shots for Bull Quoll. It changes the whole way the team operates.
You're talking about some of the most athletic players in the league, in Galloway, in Adams, in Cooks, and there's probably only a couple of players across the league who can match that athleticism, one of which plays for the Perth Wildcats, but we've barely seen him out there tonight, Keanu Pinder. I'm not sure what's going on. I find it hard to believe he's 100% and still riding the bench, so I do believe something's going on that we're not privy to.
Another turnover there for the Perth Wildcats. Just trying to force it, Dylan Windler. They've been very sloppy tonight, haven't they? They've had patches that have been okay, but as a whole, Cats been very sloppy, and probably the defence playing its part.
Well, the defence has done a great job of speeding the Wildcats up at times. It's forced some of those sloppy turnovers. And then when we've seen the almost...
Pepe from outside.
Just punish them again. The other turnovers have been created just from flat out taking away the passing lane. So instead of punishing that by having a weak side big flash, trying to get a backdoor cut, whatever it might be, unfortunately the Wildcats have thrown the turnovers as we nearly see another one committed.
This is good defence too from the Kings. The pressure is immense. Doolittle decides to take it to the hoop, and he's drawn the foul. It's just intimidating, isn't it? They're up and in, they're throwing their hands around, they're not fouling, and they're causing turnovers.
Seems like the Wildcats are on the back foot a little bit, like the up and in pressure of the Kings. They're not then attacking that pressure. So they're then on the back foot making these passes that are leading to turnovers because they've picked up their dribble or because they're trying to get rid of it. I like what Doolittle did just then. Like, you had Lepepe all up and in, and instead of kind of going with the flow of the offense, he's like, oh, well, if you're going to be that close, I'll just go straight past you. Maybe a little bit more of that towards the end of this term.
The way the Sydney Kings are playing defensively, there's so much pressure getting applied that you need all 5 on the same page. Otherwise, it's going to lead to an open look for the opposition. And to be this early in the NBL season, to have all 5 switched on the way they've shown tonight at the defensive end, they're well and truly ahead of where most teams would even have the ability to get to with the defensive game plan.
So it's now out to 13 points. A little bit of two-man action going on. Adams and Oliver. Good hands on that occasion from Harris. Liafa moves through the key. Well done, Windler. Read it well. Time ticking away, under a minute to go. As Windler throws one up. It's very short. Doolittle with the Cats' best player so far. He's drawn the foul.
A bit of off-ball contact there between Wagstaff and someone else. He ended up on the floor. Not sure what happened.
Michael Allen has it all under control. If you want to have a bit of a chat, make sure it's on the other side of the foul line. Don't stand under the key. He's in total control. Heading to his 12 points. Christian Doolittle.
Yeah, he's been battling out there, up to 13 points, 7 rebounds.
Oh, there's 2! Because I can't see for the backboard to see if he touched it.
2 points. 2?
So it's just the 1 point.
Let me explain, okay?
Here we go.
Let me explain. He did touch the ball. The ball is below the level of the rim, so it's basket interference. It's not an own goal.
I wouldn't say it was below the level of the rim. Yeah, that was, yeah.
All right, the Amy replay all over it on that occasion. John really say a bit annoyed.
I can't see that in real time.
The foul will be on Michael Harris.
And it was a bad one.
You've had your answer, and it was a bad one.
It was a bad one. It was.
Think about that for a second, Travis.
You played many seasons against John, really?
Only the one.
Only the one. He was always cool, wasn't he, as a player? Like chirper, but... Dear! We've had some highlights and near misses as well. Here's Cotton spinning out of action.
If there's a top 10 almost, we've seen 2 of them.
Yeah, that's it.
Almost 3, I reckon.
Time ticking away to three-quarter time. Ball in the hand of the MVP. Gets the shot away, Doolittle. Big board, fade away. The two-pointer drops. Timing perfect, and they needed that. Because the Kings have been dominating 67 to 58. We've got a quarter to play here at the RSC Arena. Kings lead it by 9 points. We've got a quarter to play inside the RAC Arena. And Bryce Cotton's landed a couple of long bombs. This man has been absolutely awesome. Cam Oliver from outside 3 has been special. And of course the Mitsubishi leading threes for the season so far. Bryce Cotton leading the way. Cook's been special as well. Had a good game earlier on. And Jalen Adams, good to see hitting some long bombs because he can do it all. And when he does it all, he's MVP. He's got 19 points to his name. Oliver with 15, Cooks with 15, and 16 to Doolittle and Cotton. And the scorers so far in this game. Ball to Adams from the foul line. Little jumper. He's very nice. Ooh, nearly a carry there from Doolittle. Swindler. To Harris. Another one to Harris.
Oh, great pass.
Great pass. Split the gap beautifully, and so too did Cotton for the 2.
How did he even see the space that was there? That was an unreal pass by Harris. But, I mean, look, that's all off the back of the movement from Cotton, like the way that he moves without the ball to draw other players and then make those types of cuts.
Still in the hands of the Kings. Adams, clock winding down. Below 5 now. Defense good from Perth. Adams, though, gets around somehow. That drops it in.
I was just about to comment on the defense there. It was pretty unreal. Like, there's not a lot more you could do there.
We're winding back the clock at the moment. Adams is 2022. Adams is, that's a nice basket for Dylan Windler.
Shout out to Trevor Gleeson as well. He's tuning in from Japan to send a text message through.
Here's Cooks loading in another 2. Here's Bryce Cotton. Harris needed to get on the scoreboard. Oh, it had a nice big loop in it. And it swished through for a 3.
That's what he can do.
We haven't seen a lot of Pepper in this second half. We'll have to know the minutes as Bryce is on the outlet. He's got to take on 3. That shot was a little short. Well, Harris nearly stole it out of his hands, and Bryce is just grabbing at his knee. Landed a little awkwardly right near the cameraman.
I want to talk about something really quick. You see how Bryce was running down the court, checking behind him to see where ball qual was. That's the ball qual effect. That right there. He needed to know where he was.
Here's Adams again. So Elijah Pepper, who hit the 8 points in that first half, only played about 2 and a bit minutes in that third term, which is a little surprising, is it? He was the igniter in the comeback. They've gone with Michael Harris for this term.
I think Harris has done a really good job so far on Adams. Worn him like a glove.
Pass inside, Cooks hovering and scoring.
Just too big. That duo there of Cooks and Oliver, just too big for the Wildcats that time.
They move really well off each other when they're both inside the paint. You have one always hooking around the bottom of the ring, moving
Here's
opposite
Windler.
to the other.
Another 3. That's what he needs to do.
Yeah.
The stat line starting to look pretty impressive for him as well. He's got the 14 points and 10 rebounds. 11.
13.
13.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, they were showing it to us on the screen. Don't know what we were looking at.
I was looking at this over
yeah.
here. Oh, yeah, it is.
That's the part of commentating they don't tell you about. You have to math on the side of it. It's 11 plus 2.
Some of us older
Not sure.
classes as well. So we're back to 7, still game alive. Kings just can't put the Cats away at the moment. Qual trying to quieten down Bryce Cotton. The double team's been working for him. Windler again. Trying to draw the foul. Pass out wide was good. Another looping shot from Harris. Doesn't go on that occasion. So Cooks wasn't expecting that one. It's Adams. Somehow finds himself to the hoop again. He's almost unstoppable.
That mid-range game, that little floater, has been incredible this fourth quarter.
Yeah, he's initiating that contact and making the space for himself before he lets that shot off.
He plays at the pace he wants to as well. It doesn't seem to be rattled over.
There's Michael Harris receiving it from Doolittle, who is working hard. There's a bit of push and shove now. Cooks is stirring the pot.
Hey, that's crazy, though. You really saw this thing trying to punch the ball and you don't call it.
Some words from Christian Doolittle. Things spicing up a touch.
Go now, Sydney.
And we're going to time out. Here it is again, gents. And also, Annalie, is there a foul in there?
Oh, nah. All in the...
All in the fun of the game.
All in the physicality of the game, I reckon.
Kings are 77, the Wildcats 70. Seven points that margin. The Kings continue to hold the advantage. They've been very, very impressive, haven't they?
They've been great. It's been a game of runs for both teams, but the Kings, whenever it seems like it's going to get a bit closer, they seem to come up with that next big play and then put another 5 points on the board. But these types of things could spark either team. You don't know how either side's going to react off a bit of push and shove. I hope they don't punish either club right now. I hope they say play on, which it appears they're going to, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a intense game. There's a lot of emotions, a lot of passion, and you don't want to like dampen the passion that the players are playing with. Good on Michael Harris for getting up in safe space. I wouldn't do it, but he did. At least for good TV, you know.
We're back at RAC Arena. 77-70 is the score. 7 points to margin. Kings have controlled this game from the tip-off. Qual in the corner, slides around, Windler. Good boards. Perth needs some momentum now. Pepper tempted to shoot. He does shoot on this occasion. Hand in the face, didn't matter.
Yeah. How good was the ball movement there? Like, it whipped across the court through multiple players' hands. You got a lot of inside-outside. There was handoffs, there was screens, and the end shot was a product of all of that.
Cats fighting back, but they're finding it hard to stop this man. And there's a foul there.
It is a clear foul.
I think that's a hard one to argue. He definitely got him on the arm. I don't know if we'll see a replay, but I'd say there's
so
contact
athletic,
in that.
isn't he, that he can get up so high that
Yeah.
that's almost impossible to block this man. Unravel around.
Jamie, you know, I never noticed they have your face up there.
Yeah,
behind the basket.
That head, those ears, that'll put any free throw shooter off. It's worked wonders with that first attempt.
Yeah, I need to bring it down closer. I think it's too far away.
They can smell the burgers, the Perth fans, but they won't get any.
Told ya.
David Cooks delivers with the seconds.
They put the burger in front of the fan just to rile everybody up.
Here's Pepper. He gets knocked over. Kings have had so many players that have been really energetic throughout the game, haven't they? But you look at the Cats, Bryce is doing Bryce things, but he's not the brilliant Bryce. Doolittle's solid, but Pepper's the one that's sort of providing a little bit of energy. He's taking the ball to the hoop and he's being aggressive.
And it's praise for Elijah Pepper, but also probably speaks volume that not enough of the Wildcats players have played at that level, because you're spot on about the Sydney Kings. At different times, they had multiple players doing it, but it just became the norm, whereas it's a standout when Pepper's come off the bench. Michael Harris did something similar, hits a three, then he gets a deflection at the other end.
Get the latest breaking news direct to your device. Check out the live scores and track your favourite players' Supercoach numbers via the free NBL app. Grab it on the App Store and Google Play now. As Pepper drew back to 4 points here at RAC Arena.
I like the confidence that he's played with, though. It's hard to come off the bench and have the confidence to shoot the ball. And he's let it fly. He's not shy to putting it up, so it's not easy to do.
It's a talent within itself, isn't it, to stay ready. You don't know when your number's going to get called to sub yourself in. Last week, it wasn't until the fourth quarter. Saw minutes earlier tonight. But he was ready to go at any given stage and perform.
Miss there for Jalen Adams. Now for chasing Cotton down the court. Behind the back, step back two. We're back to 2 points now.
I want to note the difference in the ball pickup there with Jalen Adams. You see, by the moment he crossed half court, he had someone on him.
Yeah.
And the Kings need Xavier Cooks back into the game. Now for the Pepe will step off the court and Cooks will come back on. You go to your leader at these times when it's just 2 points and 4 minutes remaining. Oliver, full qual, outside. Yes, great answer.
He's clutch. That's a
Massive three.
Yeah, it's a big three. He's got the 6 points now, but he only had the 3 before that.
Jesse Wagstaff being a little shy on that 3-point line. That was a really good bounce pass too from Windler. And Doolittle will go to the line.
This game has not disappointed. Every time I think the Kings are going to run away with it, the Wildcats managed to go on a run, bring it back to 2 4-point games. Right now it's 5 with a couple of freebies to come. Hey, while we're waiting for these free throws to shot, I mentioned Trevor Gleeson tuning in his text through. He's in Japan. Greg Hire, he rode his bike into Perth today, over 3,200 kilometres. He's spent riding his bike all the way from the top of WA into Perth, raising money for his charity, A Stitching Time, all for mental health. He's now text through saying, please tell Trev, I know what you're earning over there in Japan. You too can donate to the charity. So Trev, you've been called out. I'm not sure what currency you're going to pay in, but Greg is waiting.
Yeah, what's the conversion rate like these days?
Trev. I think he busted his collarbone the other day, Trev. Fell off his wallet.
Good one.
There's his third.
Yeah.
His third dad joke.
Keeping a tally.
Here's Adams. I think Greg raised about $80,000 too for his Stitching Time, so magnificent performance. Oliver, long range, doesn't get it. Another rebound, Windler. Here come Perth, 3 points to margin.
16 rebounds for him now.
You see Wagstaff down on the ground. Doolittle likes this matchup. Decides to pass it out. Pepper. Swish it goes!
Unreal.
All tied up. Game on the line now. 3 remaining. And the hands from Pepper as well.
I want to know, you reckon he got that 3 because Wagstaff fell over and distracted everyone?
Maybe. The double team on Bryce in a little bit of trouble. Wagstaff. The boot was there to knock it away.
Great job by Elijah Pepper lifting up out of the corner. He saw the open space. All eyes were on Christian Doolittle with the mismatch, taking his player into the post.
He's got 15 points to his name, Elijah Pepper. So he's the one they needed because Sydney had Oliver, they got Adams, they got Cooks, they're delivering double figures. Perth were needing someone to step up.
On a +13 efficiency as well.
Here is ball in hand again. Liartha is taking him on, and he's very confident. Oh, the Pepper shaker!
Oh, the Red Army loves that one.
Sydney, what have they got to respond? Hands from Pepper again. Adams, the star. The MVP from the foul line delivers the blow. What a game he is having.
How do you guard that? He bumps people to get out of his space, and he just has such good touch. Like, rises the knee up, it's impossible to guard.
He's got 27 points. Jalen Adams. Here's Windler, and the offensive foul on Harris. And a bit of a cop to the jaw, is it? Or the, mouth for Adams. So I hope this is nothing serious. No, it looks okay. There doesn't seem to be any blood.
Let's see a replay.
Just a real knock to the face. Shaking him up a little bit, but he'll be right.
He leaned into it slightly, but I'd say, actually, of the 2 players that I wouldn't want to be hit on a screen by, Lepepe is probably number 1.
He's top.
But I'd say Harris would be number 2. Yeah. You seen the battle in the low post before between the 2 of them? Nobody moved. It was just sounded like thunder happening in the building.
Here's Elijah Pepper. He's been a spark for the Perth Wildcats. Just 2 games so far in red, and that one was a big, long bomb. Pumped up the fans. And the Caddies right now lead it by 1 after pretty much the Kings have controlled this game.
Yeah, it doesn't matter for who's been the better team for Longguards, who's leading right at the end. And the Wildcats have just stuck around close enough throughout the course of the first 38 minutes to give themselves a shot to be in the lead, and Elijah Pepper has brought not only the Red Army to life, but this scoreboard ticking over to the point where they've now got that 1-point margin.
So Adams will come back out on the court, which is good news. 27 points for Jalen Adams. He's led the way. And there'd be a bit of pride on the line, wouldn't there? You know, he was the MVP, knocked off Bryce a couple of years back. Didn't have his greatest season, wasn't as starring as he did that season when he won the MVP. And he comes up against Cotton again. Oh, the ego's got to be there just to say, hey, look, I'm not going to play.
They know what the talk is.
They love it. And he's got ball in hand now. He's not afraid. It's Liafa. Pressure was good from Pepe. Got around him though. Oh, Cooks. Bang! The rebound and dunk.
Just off 2 feet. No run-up.
Kings by 1 now. Fan stand. Windler with the responsibility. Goes to Pepper. That one was a little off target. Tried to keep it in play, but it'll be a Kings ball.
That was a heat check for sure. For sure.
It was a little too adventurous.
I'd like to see the ball in Cotton's hands at the end of the shot clock a little bit more. I know Pepper's been hot, but definitely the man you want with the ball in hands.
Still 1-point ball game. Kings with the possession. Plenty of time for both teams. Little foul there.
Yeah.
Bit of a late call as well. I think he was just waiting to see whether he got past him towards the hoop on that occasion.
14 fouls to the Wildcats, and the next one sends the Kings to the free throw line as well.
What's your mentality then right now?
Oh, it's just all about getting a stop.
Yep.
Playing aggressive defense regardless, but just getting a stop.
Under a minute to go.
Whoever secures this rebound is going to win the game.
Oh, she's called it.
Adams. That one doesn't go. Strong work by Oliver, and he's got the foul as well. Flexing the muscles, the big man. And he'll go to the line to make it 4 points with 40-odd seconds remaining.
Put a body on him. Come on. It's a tough putback and a tough O-board.
And drops it to make it 4 points. Tough assignment for Perth, but time on the clock. Cotton against Kroll. Doolittle looks to the corner, tempted to shoot. Now takes it inside the key. Spin move on Cox, and he's drawn the foul as well.
Just big play after big play at both ends of the floor.
So back to 2. And Xavier Cooks will sit down with the 5. Rodney Gorgon wants some time just to work out who comes in. Alex Tui, haven't seen a lot of him in the second half. So it's a big loss. No, there's only 29 seconds, but there's some key plays coming up, and you need to star your athletes.
29 a regular time.
Yeah.
Who knows if we're going to go to overtime, and if that was to be the case, Cooks on the bench certainly hurts the Kings. But he's been brilliant tonight.
Doolittle makes the 3-point play. Crucial play here for the Sydney Kings. They've got the master in control.
You'd imagine they're going to run into a pick and roll with Oliver to use as much clock as possible.
And he waits. Time will tick. 6 seconds. Adams has to shoot now. He was under the pump. Oh,
in and out.
The rounds. Perth with another chance. Time on their side. Pepper from 3 will drop shorts. Kings reign supreme inside the jungle. Sensational game of basketball. Sensational performance from Sydney. They stayed here in Perth all week. Came out firing in the first term, and they sneak home by 1 point.
That game had absolutely everything. We've gone into the week saying these two teams on paper good enough to win a championship. This matchup's going to live up to all the hype. We wanted it, we saw it. I'm flabbergasted right now. That ending nearly was a textbook for the player who brought all the energy for the Wildcats. Pepper nearly capping it off with a game-winning shot. Instead, the Kings deserving that win. They were too good for too long tonight.
Yeah, and all their star players just stood up, didn't they? I mean, Bookwell had a quiet night on the offensive end, but he did a great job on Bryce Cotton. He got some early fouls, which took him off the court for quite some time. But then Oliver, with 18 points, hit some big threes. Jalen Adams with the 27 points, Xavier Cooks with 22. So those gun players that you rely on each and every week stood up and took control of this Wildcats team. But 1 point in the end and a good spread of scorers for the Perth Wildcats.
Yeah, Windler, 14 points, 16 rebounds. There's a lot to like from both teams. They'll take some positives out of it despite the loss, but take nothing away from the Sydney Kings. They found different ways to punish the Wildcats at times, whether there's a defensive pressure early on, sticking with the pick and roll later in the game. But a number of players were incredible, Adams and Oliver in particular.
Let's go to Annalise. She has the Foot Locker player of the game.
Fantastic game by you. What was it like playing in this atmosphere in front of this crowd, and how did that feel tonight?
It was great. It was a great experience. This is always the toughest place to play. Maybe the toughest place for us to play on the road. And I like the way we competed and came out with it up.
You guys seemed to make a lot of changes after that second quarter. What was said at halftime to have you guys come out and play the way that you did?
We just wanted to come out, keep rebounding the ball, and we knew we was going to win this game defensively and doing the tough things and the little things. So that's what the conversation was about when we came out and got it done.
Congratulations, great game.
Yeah, he was a star, the 27 points and 6 assists. He was an all-round player. Jalen Adams, superb effort and a great win for the Sydney Kings. They're going to be hard to beat this season, 88-87. Welcome back to RAC Arena. A sensational game of NBL basketball. Thanks to Henry Jackson, of course. 87-88 was the final score. It was the Sydney Kings who got over the line. It was a thriller in the end. They held a 17-point advantage. That was their biggest lead of the game, and Damien Martin, the Perth Wildcats, only led for 1 minute. So in the end, Sydney really deserved this victory.
Yeah, there's so many of the statistics that are going to be super close, but there's one that we're not seeing on that page right now, and that was the turnovers. The Sydney Kings forced the Perth Wildcats into 20 turnovers. They took care of the ball. They only had 11, but Jalen Adams 6 steals. So that pressure, the deflections, the steals that led to easy points, and the points in the paint also significantly in favour of the Sydney Kings, and that came off the back of the pick and roll situation and easy layups.
He was unstoppable, Annalie, wasn't he? I mean, early in the game, you felt like he was hitting his threes, so then they had to go out to him, and then, oh, okay, I'll take it to the rack, and then I'll do some jumpers from, from the top of the key. He had the full game, the full package.
Yeah, he was in his bag tonight. He was showing us absolutely everything, and what we saw more in the third and fourth quarter was him just creating space, like you see here. One bump, a fadeaway into a jump shot, but it's so hard to guard when you have a player like that that's so explosive, creating the contact, and then has such good touch to finish up those plays. Like, God, that's a tough one for any defensive assignment.
The Blackmore's shot chart here, 53% from the field. Your point guard delivering something like that is rather handy.
It is, because it wasn't just the scoring that was hurting the Wildcats, it was also getting into the pick and roll situation, making the extra pass, bringing out the best in his teammates. So you can't just pick your poison with someone who's not only creating for himself in different ways, but involving others. He was the best player on the floor tonight. He's got a lot of teammates who probably owe him a big thank you right now, because he made them look pretty good as well.
Now, this guy's the Prince of Perth, but I reckon a young fella who's just in his second game might have the fans rocking, because Elijah Pepper was magnificent, wasn't he? I mean, this is a kid that's come out of college, a lot of hype about him, and he delivered on the big stage.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying before, his confidence was something that really shone through. He came on and was ready to shoot the ball. He was ready when his number was called, and we didn't see a whole lot of him in game one, but he was completely ready this time, and the fans got behind him. His defense, like we're seeing here him shoot the ball, but his defense was what really impressed me tonight.
Absolutely. He finished with 18 points and 3 assists, so he handed off the rock a couple of times as well. This was a good game. We've got more basketball action coming up over the weekend. Cairns and Adelaide should be a beauty. I look forward to seeing these two teams. Cairns is an interesting team, isn't it? If you look at their lineup, you're just not sure what they're going to deliver.
Yeah, I look at the imports, and I think they've seen enough to know that they're going to grow as the season continues on. Do not sleep on them whatsoever. But then this double header, the following game, Tassie versus Melbourne United. 2 games I cannot wait just to put my feet up on the couch, tune in and enjoy.
Fantastic stuff. Well done to you, Damo. Thanks to you, Annalie. Thanks to everyone involved. A terrific win for the Sydney Kings. They got a win away from home. The final score 88-87. Keep watching NBL basketball over the weekend.
This program is brought to you by Hungry Jack's and Bunnings Warehouse.